Hello, dear viewers. Welcome to the Light Movements Talks. Wherever you are around the world, a big thank you for coming on board and watching this video. I hope you find it inspirational. I hope you find it spiritual. I hope you find it motivational. Um, and I hope it conveys truth to you that you can relate to in your life, and give you a higher understanding of reality. So, this topic is going to be discussing power and AI and money and of course Satan, and how all these things connect together in the old world that the Light Movement has identified as what's holding back humanity, or stopping humanity's true evolution or true progress. So we're entering a new world now, and there's exciting technology coming on the market now called AI as well. And from what I've been heard, it does amazing things of calculations and all the rest. There's even been people like that are trying to understand the universe through AI or through the intellect. And this is nonsense, because you cannot understand things through the intellect. The intellect is only about zeros or ones when it comes to a computer, or different colors or different comparisons and differentiations and things like that. But it can't go I can't go in between logic. So you cannot have full comprehension or full understanding with the intellect or with AI. It's not feasible. Even the human mind cannot fathom it. Consciousness can, for instance, people can, use different types of intelligence of the consciousness, but when it comes to the intellect, which AI is based on, it can only do computational intelligence, but at a huge, massive scale and huge processing ability, meaning speed, huge memory, huge volumes of information, and great algorithms and all the rest that may appear extremely intelligent and much more intelligent than a human being, but at the same time not as intelligent as a human being. Now, there's a falsity going around that these AI scientists are claiming that AI is more intelligent more than a human being. This is absolute nonsense. I will tell you 100% certain that AI, it doesn't matter if it has all the processing capabilities in the whole universe filled with computers and the best algorithms, it will never actually truly be able to be as intelligent as a human being. Absolutely, it can be much more intelligent than our intellect. It can be much more intelligent than how we're educated, and what we know from an intellectual point of view, meaning the physical world of that we as human beings analyze, that we can put into into information that we can interpret and analyze. For sure, AI can beat us, hands down. And this has already come about where AI actually has a higher IQ than humanity, or a human being, for instance, this year. So if you're talking in terms of, is AI smarter than a human? Absolutely not, and it will never will be. But if you're talking in terms of one section of the intellect of a human being, which is the intellect, which is sadly humanity has evolved and conditioned ourselves to develop our intellect, much less basically just our intellect, and education system and the business world have done this, conditioned us like robots. Absolutely, AI can beat us hands down when it comes to the intellect, because it's processing power, isn't it? It's huge amounts of volumes of information, it's algorithms, it's intelligent calculations. But at the end of the day, it's just calculations. But there are intelligence of the human consciousness that are not based on calculations. Okay, I'll say this again. There are higher intelligences that the human being is capable of, that is not based on calculations, such as the intellect. These higher intelligences could be intuition, understanding, telepathy. There's many more, but even some emotions as well. So AI can never actually have that ground. So there's a lot of AI scientists and engineers, getting very worried about AI at the moment. And yeah, sure, AI can drive you. It can be a robot in the future. It can look exactly the same. It can make video footage exactly the same. You wouldn't be able to tell. It can do all this computer manipulation. Whatever a computer can manipulate to the human eye, absolutely can do that on a huge scale, on a huge level. That where a human being cannot actually distinguish between truth and what's false and what's true anymore. Some things will be just look so realistic that a human being's eyes won't be able to tell the difference between a real video and not a real video. And this has major consequences for our future, absolutely. But I just want to reassure people that that's all the AI is capable of. It's not aware of its thinking like a human being is. It hasn't got that awareness. AI is only beats humans when it comes to the intellect. So I just want to make that known to people. But it can do fantastic things, and it can mimic things, and it can simulate things that will make it appear, even far, far superior, and is far, far superior to the human being regarding, much of what we use our intelligence for. But this has been down to the downfall of humanity by investing in our intellect so much, so heavily. That's all we've come to understand and know of as truth and as reality. But we have to go beyond this truth and reality, for us to be truly a human being, to truly evolve. And that area is called spirituality. It's an area where it's something beyond the physical. It's something beyond the mind. It's something beyond the body. And I think if humanity would to start investing in ourselves, in that technology, the spiritual science, such as authentic yoga, self-knowledge, meditation, mysticism, and the likes, it could have huge benefits for humanity. I've always said this on the Light Movement, that any country that invests in spirituality for the people, their nation will have a super well-being. They will have a very high quality of life. They will be very happy. They will progress and evolve much greater than any other country on this planet. And their perception will be actually much more expanded. Right now, we live in the old world, which is the ego center world. So it's based on ego consciousness, and the ego is not reality. The ego is it's like Maya. It's an illusion, or it's relative. It's relative vision to our thinking, of our mind and our brain, and that is unfortunately, you could say, 100% controlled by the ego. Humanity is, pretty much mechanical, pretty much autonomous, and pretty much unconscious. I'd even include myself as this. I'm completely unconscious. I'm completely, all of those things that I've described, and that's what makes up the human being today on this planet, because we've molded and shaped and conditioned ourselves to be that way through, our systems of education, authorities, law, through our peers, our friends, through society and everything else. Since the moment of conception, when we're born into this planet as a little baby, we're taught how to do certain things, or how to act a certain way and to be a certain way and all the rest. And that conditioning is just 100%. It's 100%. And it doesn't really develop the human being to our higher intelligences that we have. So why is this? Well, this brings us to the theory of who really is in control of this world? Um, are we being played? Is humanity being played? You know, we've talked about, Satan and dark. I use them interchangeably. They're kind of like Satan's kind of like a spiritual terminology, but I like to use that in the light movement. But your perception of Satan might be a person with horns, or a devil that's burning in hell, and or these kind of predictions, perceptions that the ego tries to visualize and conjure up. That's not what I'm talking about. And when I talk about Satan and dark, I'm talking about this invisible force that's one side of duality. There's both. Duality is two things. It's light and it's dark. So I'll give you an example. It's you know it's happiness, sadness. It's suffering, with pain, or total bliss with no pain. It's deception or truth. So it's the opposites, okay? And that's what duality is. And when we're born into this planet, we as a soul, or a consciousness, we have to experience this in the human body and human mind to elevate or to evolve our soul to higher dimensions, or qualities of understanding, or evolution. So that's the spiritual ascension that the light movement was talking about. It's about developing your spirit, or your consciousness, or your soul, to higher levels of reality. Right now we're in the physical world, and we see through our eyes. We have the five senses, and we think that everything that we see through the five senses, our eyes and our thinking, is true. But in reality, it's relative, and you could actually say it's untruth. I would actually go as far as to say that all your thoughts are untrue, because they're just thoughts. They're just it's just brain activity, mind activity, of the ego, much less. It's of the ego, because we are conditioned that way. The ego is 100%, has taken our consciousness over, and has made mankind very mechanical, and that's why dark things happen on Earth, and that's why it's important to see the vulnerabilities within this. So, is it possible that Satan, this force, this invisible force, or this dark force, that's the other side of duality, that that tempts us, like it did Jesus in the desert, that tempts us, or gives us desire, like the seven deadly sins, or this force that enters this mind and this body, what is the origin of it? Where does it come from? Is it a kind of a vibration? I'd say it's more like a vibration or a frequency, a low vibration or frequency. It's like when you're feeling down or you feel moody, if someone pushes your wrong buttons, or if something happens, or you get angry, something triggers within you, you get angry. You could say that's ego that comes from your subconsciousness, and it is released into your consciousness and consumes your consciousness, and you see that as a reality. That's all you see. You have blind vision. You just experience what your ego is feeling and experiencing right in that moment. It's because it's totally consumed your consciousness, and that brings a lot of suffering of the mind, mental health issues, fear, and all the different subtleties of the ego, like jealousy, desire, envy, greed, all these things. So, basing it on that, Satan, has a lot in his advantage, and if he uses the AI against us, meaning, if Satan uses human beings against human beings, I think, that's what's going on. That's how Satan plays humanity. The politicians, and the people in power, and the elite, and all these people, that are that are billionaires and have all the power in the world, they might think that's their own thinking, but it's not. They might think that they're in control, but they're not. They may think that they have the power because they can do things, but they're not. So they are being played by Satan, by this ego within them, this relative vision, blind vision that they have, and it's like a desire they have within them. But their ego feeds off it. Their ego likes it. Their ego likes the power. Their ego likes the money, and even a dark thing. Some of their egos actually like feeding off the negativity of making other people suffer. Unfortunately, I would say that's true as well, because that's ego too. So that means that Satan has total control of the planet. If he's in control of our politicians that are not conscious, and the elite that are, basically are just pulling the strings of these politicians that are puppets, because they're very wealthy billionaires, or they have, they've reached power from whatever resources, maybe religion, perhaps. This is an infiltration of Satan, in our systems, you could say, so in our justice systems, in our education systems, in our, and even in our politics and everything, wherever, existence is, you can say that duality exists within it. It's like a piece of wood. You can get a fresh piece of wood, or you can get a rotten piece of wood. It's the same wood, but it's rotten. Rotten is the duality of a fresh piece of wood, which is good. You wouldn't want to be a rotten piece of wood, would you? You wouldn't be very good to build a house with. But on a fresh piece of wood, you would be very good and very malleable. So it could go with everything. Duality exists within every single atom in the universe, you could say, and we need to, as human beings, we need to transcend this, to become spiritual, the spiritual domain or realm, which is not of the physical. It's not of the atomic scale, or the molecule scale. It's of something that we can't describe with the mind, and that's where our higher intelligences lie within the human being. Like understanding and consciousness and and all these higher qualities. I think that's the path that humanity should invest in the future, for the new world. And what I would say is, unfortunately, humanity is conditioned so much, and we are basically have imprisoned ourselves, by our own ego consciousness, and enforced by it through our systems that go against our true full potential and evolution. Because for instance, there's a lot of people out there that don't want this life. They don't want to have possess material things, and they don't want to just work a 9 to 5 job all their life. They don't feel fulfilled. They feel like they want something more, but they want to give a lot to society. They want to give a lot to everyone else, but they can't, because they're restricted to, because it's against the system. You have to pay for stuff with money. Not unless you have a certain quality or power. That might be different, but we'll talk about that in a little while. But it's a conditioned environment, and we are a product of our environment, myself included. So a lot of people are lost. They don't know, they don't understand, they get confused, and this leads to a lot of dark things that arise in humanity, like mental health, depression, anxiety, suicide, crime, abuse. All these sufferings are man trying to is unaware or unconscious, or is lacking that spiritual health. So spiritual health really is what the government, or what the people, and an individual person as yourself should take responsibility for your spiritual health, because without spiritual health, we are just basically at the whim and mercy of Satan through ego, through our thinking mind, through our relative vision, which is not true, and this can create a lot of suffering within us. It can make us do a lot of mistakes, compulsion, do things that we don't want to do, and this can, affect the outside world, as as dark manifestation. As in all the things that I've talked about. Like even the physical body, the disease, the mind, all these kind of things, and to make wrong decisions and bad decisions. So, is Satan really controlling this planet, individual people? Is he fooling humanity? Are we being played? Well, I would say that humanity is not a fraction where it can potentially be at. I'll say this again. Humanity is not a fraction of what its potential could be. And I think that's a direction that we need to steer humanity towards, to grow in that direction, to expand in that direction more. Because if humanity it just keeps going along with the economy, because the economy is what creates, the outside world and our inside world for a lot of us, how we think, how we do things, how we act. And this is all conditioning from people, from school, education, from the workforce and everything else. So if we're controlled by this conditioning, and let's say AI came out in the future or even now, are we still being controlled right now? How do we know something that's, true or not true? So Satan is at deception. We cannot know the truth. And, this could be a big problem in the future with AI, because if, Satan infiltrates AI, meaning not in AI itself, but in using a human being to design the architecture and develop AI in such a way that works against humanity, but it's good for business and it's good for power and it's good for control and it's good for government and all the rest, and it's even good for good intentions where people think it actually will improve their lives, or fulfill their lives, or might even just deceive us in that sort of way. We could nearly say that humans' cognitive ability, even our intellect, can reduce, and that would mean that we wouldn't know the difference between right and wrong, really, or truth. Well, morally we'd know the difference between right and wrong, but because our conditioning has put that into us, but we wouldn't know the truth as such as in reality. For instance, there could be 5 people on this planet in the future that could control this whole planet. 5 people, for instance. All they have to do is turn up. They could be government people. All they have to do is turn up. At these big conferences and do a few handshakes, say a few words, and wave around to the people and do a bit of talking, and that's about it. And everything else can be simulated by AI, meaning meetings in the White House, all the presidents of the world can be simulated. Everything that you see basically on your television and on your radio and on your internet, every image of the known politicians and the known people that are out there that are in politics and are in high influence in society, or even celebrities and influencers and all these people could be simulated by AI. What you could look at them on your computer screen or on your TV at home, and you wouldn't know the truth. So if it's a real person or if it's simulated, or even if it's a real war or not. So that's how Satan could use AI in the future to deceive humanity through AI, but through the human being that made it that way, out of their own desire or temptation of wanting that power, as such. We'll talk about power in a minute, but they wanted that power and that control, or even that that taste for that greed and that money, or even I would go one step further, to feed off the negativity of other people's suffering, which is truly a sad affair to see that happen, because that would mean that they're actually evil, from right from the source. So how do people know if their parents are telling them, their parents believe in something, they're looking at the television and they say, oh my goodness, this has happened, but it's all completely false. AI has simulated it all, or their friend is telling them, oh, look what's happening, on, did you hear the news in the newspaper or in the magazine, or my friend told me this, my friend told me this, or, my wife told me this, and my husband told me this, they're watching it, it's real on TV, it's real, look at it. How do we know that that's not AI that's tricking us, and it's not reality? So mostly people don't prove reality, they don't prove truth, right? We go to work in the morning because we think that, if we don't, we're going to die, we can't pay the bills, or we'll starve to death. So how do we know that that's real? And we have some sense of realness from, our mind and our body, but we aren't the mind or the body. So that itself is not real. It's not reality. I know this is deep thinking and it's hard to understand, but I'll give you an example through AI to make it simpler, so you can understand with the mind. You could say like AI, if it's on your TV screen, of maybe a politician or a president that we see, and you might be talking to to you, the whole in a concert or a conference to millions of people, and it looks so realistic, but nobody can tell if it's real or not, if it's created by AI. This is the problem in the future. The new problem in the future will be, how do we know if something is truth or untruth? Because Satan itself is untruth. So how do we know that side of duality? There's two sides of duality. There's the light and there's the dark. There's the truth and the untruth. There's God and there's Satan. So how do we know that we are not being fooled, that AI is not being used against us, by our fellow man, by humans, because they want that power, they want that to feed off that negativity, they want that to be a billionaire or a zillionaire, they want that control, they want to be that elite. How do we know that that is not purely orchestrated and designed, by these elite, these 5 people that are controlling this planet, that they've, and it all comes down the way, and they use their money and use money, the economy, that we work in. Basically, you and me, we work in. We create this thing called wealth, and they use this thing called wealth to invest in AI and to put people basically as their slaves, enslaves people, believing that we are actually, in reality, this is real, but it's not real. So we act a certain way, we're conditioned a certain way, and the only intelligence that the education system has given us, that's developed within us, is our intellect. So if Satan can compromise our intellect, if Satan can infiltrate our intellect, well then humanity is completely in a simulation. I'm afraid to say it, Satan has 100% control over humanity, if that is the case. So this is a very important video, because if we cannot distinguish between the intellect of what we see with our eyes, if we cannot see truth, and we can't prove truth from a direct experience of ourselves, how will we know if that's truth? Sure, we know the sufferings of the body and all the rest. I can say that I'm sitting here, in this room, looking around, and I can say, is this truth? And I could say, okay, it is. It could be truth. Not unless I was born with the implanted chip, where this is on my retina, and where every time I move my head, I just see what is fed to me by AI as a simulation, so there's something very strange going on here, because, for me, I always wanted to search the truth, and I think a lot of people out there kind of feel a bit frustrated and confused in the world, that they feel like it's just a dream, that they can't experience life. It feels too artificial. They get up in the morning and they say hello, to people on the street, and they go to work and they come back and they eat their food and they watch their TV and have their drink or whatever, and they sleep, and they do the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over again every day. but and being fed, you know, you know, things like who knows what we're being fed, you know. So this is a problem of AI, and truth in the future. People want to know the truth, or it could have reached a stage now where people don't care, or they cannot fathom it, because they cannot prove truth. There's no way they can. They 100% of their free will is taken off them. AI has simulated and predicted, you know, how they're going to react, how they think, um, how we see things. You know, even our senses, our five senses, are totally dominated. So if AI can put a thing on the TV tomorrow or on your computer screens and have a president standing up and saying, you know, there's a war on, this is it, World War III, we need this to do, people to do this, or there's and it's totally fake, it's totally false. So the whole army, the whole military will all just believe in it and get in their fighter planes and their tanks and their guns and go and attack this nation just out of, you know, an AI video that was, you know, simulated by man, where these five people on the top, you know, are, you know, laughing at this, and they're feeding off this negativity, and they think they're great, they have this control and power to do what they want in the world. They can just go around to any country and just totally you know, send loads of AI robots there and human beings operating the robots, and to make it all happen. And there could be five people in the world, that could be, or even less, could be just like a handful of people, or even two people, or it could even be one person in the world, that's controlling the world. One person, can you believe it? It could be one human being that could be controlling all of mankind, all of humanity, and we don't even know it. I'll rest assured it's not me, okay? Just in case, because you know, I think it's totally satanic if someone was to do that. That's total power in the total sense of the word, you know. And that's why if it gets AI on board, you know, if people can't see a direct experience of truth, how will they know truth, you know? How will they know this is all simulated or not, you know? Because most people are not happy. Most people are, you know, have mental health issues. You know, most people, you know, are on prescription in drugs in America. I think it's like 70%. You know, most people are unfulfilled. You know, there's a lot in this world that doesn't make sense. So it kind of beggars belief. Is Satan really in control of this planet just to make us reproduce, just to keep us, you know, unconscious, you know, and to control us, to dominate us, and to make us believe certain things that we never experience, and we put all our time and effort and energy into, but things never change. You know, okay, wars may come, wars may go, recessions may come and recessions may go, but it's a repeated pattern, isn't it? It's like human beings haven't learned our mistakes from the past. We will still go to war tomorrow. We'll still have another economical crash tomorrow, economy crash tomorrow, financial crash tomorrow. We're always complaining about the same thing every day. So it's like we have no consciousness, or it's completely consumed by an ego, of our ego consciousness that has this relative vision of our intellect, our thinking mind. What we think we believe is true, you know. What we think is what we feel, isn't it? So even our feelings can be compromised or infiltrated by Satan. So this is a level of control, and power and wealth, you know, and possession, owning, you can really say, is what Satan owns every man, woman, and child on this planet, through the ego, you know, where we think we're happy but we're not. It's ego happiness. So we never actually truly know if someone's even telling the truth anymore. They may appear that we've been practicing all our lives to, you know, be such pretenders, aren't we? You know, in the outside world, you know, to say the right things, you know, to do the right things, to appear, you know, to appear not to step out of line, to adhere to protocol, you know, and all the rest. And this is not freedom. This is control. This is control in the total sense of the word. You know, this is domination in the total sense of the word. This is complete power in the total sense of the word. This is completely satanic. So this is why it's very probable now to say that we just could be fooled by Satan. Humanity just could be this humanity could be completely fooled. We could be completely hoodwinked by Satan, and we're just all completely asleep in this dream, this physical dream. We can feed our body and we can talk to one another, but we never experience true happiness, spiritual bliss. Um, so that's why spiritual technology is very important. But the government doesn't see it that way, and most of the majority of the people in the population, they don't see it that way. So why is it that only some spiritual leaders or the spiritual leaders see it that way and the rest of the population don't see it that way? Is it because that we have ego consciousness and we just believe our thoughts and our feelings, and then we just assume that that's true? How can we assume that that's true if we don't know the truth of reality? We can't experience a direct experience of reality because it's a simulation. So that's why spirituality is very important. But I would believe that this goes against Satan. That's why Satan doesn't want to teach us spirituality in our schools, in our education systems. That's why Satan doesn't sees it as a threat. Satan wants to keep humanity asleep, unconscious, mechanical, in fear, or to have the ego consciousness of more greed or more control or power or money, these things, which is of Maya, which is an illusion, which is not true in itself. It's relative vision. So it's like Satan has this bell, and he's banging this bell, and he's going bling, 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 and he's saying, "Come on, humans, I got power here for you. I got dominance. I got money. I got wealth. You can have this. I'll give it to you." And it's like the human beings are just sleepwalking or running towards Satan and say, "Oh, more money. Oh, I have to have more money because I'll have more money. I can buy more things." So humanity run towards it. Or more power. Oh, this would be great. So this would be like the politicians, like the presidents or the war leaders or whatever, the leaders in power. Oh, more power. So Satan might control them in their mind with this frequency, which we cannot see, this vibration, and to tempt them to this temptation of desire, of power. So people rush towards this power. So it's like or more dominance. So, or more greed, more wealth, more control. So all these things, wealth, power, control, dominance, these are the things that Satan uses and plays humanity with, from top to bottom, from people that think they're in control, even the 5 people that are controlling this planet. They're feeding off these 5 things that Satan has given them, and they think it's reality. But they never experience reality. They're never happy. They're never satisfied. And if you think about this, there are more billionaires and there's more millionaires in this world that commit suicide than people that are not millionaires and billionaires. And this is a fact. Look it up. Google it. You'll find lists and lists of billionaires that committed suicide, and you'll find many, many more billionaires. But if you put into proportion, in proportionality, they commit suicide more. The people that are in power, the people that are rich, the people that are multi-millionaires and billionaires, they have more issues, they have more problems, they're probably more depressed, they're angrier, they're unhappier, they commit suicide much more compared to the rest of us. So these 5 things that Satan uses against humanity to possess us or to own us. Basically, so Satan wants to own us. So we have to say, humanity has to kind of look up right now and say to itself, are we really being owed? Like, does Satan really own us? Do you know? Because if we don't know, if we just from we can't if we can't find out a direct experience of truth, if we can't, actually feel it and see it, that reality, well then perhaps maybe Satan is in control of us. You know, this is a very strange theory to put out there, but it's a possibility. You know, especially with the advent of this AI that is supposed to be can simulate everything and make things appear exactly real, just like there's no difference at all. You cannot tell. And this is maybe not today in the year 2025, but in the next 5 years, we could have computer simulations, of our leaders, of all the people in power, or influence or whatever. They could be completely computer generated, 100%, and our eyes as human beings, when we look at them on our screens and our TVs and our monitors and in the papers and in the media, from our mom, from our dad, from our children, from everyone, they could all be saying the same thing. We could all be fed this information and we could all think, oh, how do we know it's true or not? But we don't know a direct experience of truth. So I would say 90% or 95%, you could nearly go as 100% of humanity is completely possessed, is completely dominated, is controlled, because we can't experience a direct experience of truth. The only people that can experience a direct experience of truth is spiritual people that have awakened themselves or realized themselves, that have left their body, or still in the human form, as avatars, try to help humanity, using that spiritual technology that's out there, and that's why it's very important for you as an individual person looking at this video, to maybe investigate spirituality for yourself, and that's why it's very important for a nation, for the people, to investigate spirituality for itself, to find out, is there truth in it? Can I experience truth, the direct experience of truth through spirituality? Because I can't believe my mind anymore, because it's ego consciousness, it's conditioning. My consciousness is completely taken over by, and it's used by Satan, just to get what he wants out of me and you and everyone else. So we're just living in this body mind, to serve basically Satan. I know this sounds really out there, but it could be true. This could be very true, because we don't know. You can't tell me, for instance, dear viewer, that you could say, oh, I know the truth and all the rest. You're just getting that from thought, or from what you can see, or from what you can feel. All of that could be infiltrated by Satan. So this brings us to spirituality. If the spiritual people proclaim what they say, if it's of truth and it's of reality, which I do believe so, I think that it's within the interests of you, dear viewer, to investigate spirituality for yourself, for your children. You owe it to yourself and to your children, and not to be made another status quo of another flock in the herd. I think that's a responsibility for every person out there, if they really want to see truth and to experience truth, to know reality. I think it's only correct and wise and fair that humanity should be helping ourselves. Our fellow men should be helping one another to experience truth, rather than all of us just being following this 5 people on top that are actually in control, that are controlled by Satan themselves, because Satan is saying, come, my little sheep, I will give you money, wealth, I can make you a billionaire, I can give you all the power in the world, I can give you dominance, I can give you all the control. So these people, these human beings, just like you and me, that are on the top echelons of society, of life, that are above government, and the government are just, puppets that, push out, what this higher echelon is making them do. And these 5 people themselves, they could be sitting down now watching this video, and they could be shocked. They could be in their penthouse in their lovely skyscraper, or they're in a big mansion out in the country, and they could be all in this room. Those 5 people could be in this room right now looking at this video from the light movement, and they're probably saying, how the hell can we kill him straight away? Thing is, guys, we're not living in the days of Jesus Christ anymore. We've got things that Satan has put into society, like democracy and conditioning, and people don't believe in religion like they used to. So those 5 people, you're out of luck. You can't knock on my door tomorrow and drag me out of my house and hang me like you did Jesus Christ did, because he was a threat to your power. The world is different now. So Satan has made that mistake of trying to feed humanity just enough so he can be in control of humanity, but not upset humanity too much, because you cannot totally, take away someone's life, because people will have no meaning to live. So I'm saying to those top 5 people that are watching this video, you're out of luck, because the light movement is here, and the light movement is about the truth. So I'm not trying to, scare you. I'm not trying to play you down. But what I am trying to tell you is that what you're doing is satanic to the rest of humanity. And I'm here to tell you the truth from the light movement, that, I love you dearly as a human being. I am your brother. I'm your sister. I'm your father. I'm your mother. I'm everything to you, because I love you dearly, and I want you to know the truth. So there's 5 people in this, and they're watching this video, that are in control of this world. I will tell you, you are being played. You are being played by Satan. You, by this dark force of duality that you are feeding off. You're feeding off this false notion of power, of dominance, of control, wealth, and possession. Those 5 things are satanic. They're not real. And all I say is to you is, look at yourself in the mirror, okay? And you will know a direct experience of truth for yourself. These 5 people that are controlling this planet, okay? I want you to go in and look at yourself in the mirror and say, really, those 5 things that I've told you about: control, dominance, wealth, possession, ownership of everyone, power, those 5 things, is that what makes you who you are today? Is that what you are feeding off? Because if that is so, you are being possessed by Satan, because those 5 things are satanic in nature. They are on the duality of side of things. They are on the dark side. And I have a lot of compassion for you guys, but I'm here to give you the truth, because I love you and I have compassion for you. So you've been being played. If you're basing yourself on those 5 things, if you're basing yourself on power, money, control, possession, ownership of everyone, and power, and if you think that's real, or you think you're feeding off that, where you think you're better off for that, because of your mind is telling you so, your body or your feeling is telling you so, these 5 things are satanic, and you are basically being fooled by Satan. So that means that this planet, everyone on this planet, this humanity, this race, because humanity is on the top of the food chain, right? This means that this planet is completely possessed by Satan. If this is true, if you look at yourself in the mirror and say, if those 5 things were taken away from me tomorrow morning, would I still, if those 5 things were taken away from you, would you still be a human being, Or are you clinging on to those things? Are you attached to those things? Because if you are attached to those things and you can't let those things go, then you are being controlled. And this is why there's a lot of billionaires out there and millionaires, they say, that after you make, I think it's £72,000 a year, that any more money you make after that doesn't make you any extra happy, so it kind of makes you wonder, why are people becoming millionaires and billionaires? Well, because they want that control, they want that power, they want that dominance, they want that ownership. So that in itself is satanic. So if there is billionaires and millionaires out there that are doing that, just living their life just for the sake of creating more wealth by enslaving humanity, by the GDP of the economy of this world, and taking it off the GDP of the nation and making everyone else suffer, enslaved by this, and putting it into their bank accounts, all these billions of dollars of wealth, I will say this for sure, that power that you have is fake, it's false. Because there's two types of power. There's ego power, there's satanic power, okay, where you think you're in control because you have this wealth, okay? Because you can buy, whatever you want. You can buy AI, to do what you want. You can simulate things. You can buy company people and all the rest. That's a satanic power. You can have that, but that's not true power. True power is someone that doesn't need wealth to be powerful. True power is someone that doesn't have to be a president or have to be in a position of power in a system of authority or in a system, of governance. Okay, they're not powerful either. Okay, because they are conditioned to only be a certain way. That makes them puppets. They're not in control. They've been played by Satan. They can only do certain things. They're conditioned to be certain ways and certain protocols that they can only fulfill. So they themselves are possessed by Satan. So these things that billionaires are looking after when they get up in the morning and they feel all motivated and all the rest, and they just want to basically make more people, take more money off the economy, make more people poor and suffering. They're making a lot of people suffer, and they're working for Satan, but they're working for Satan probably unknowingly. If they're not feeding off it, if they're not conscious of it, they're working unknowingly or unconsciously, and that means they're possessed by Satan. So there could be business people, men and women that, billionaires, whatever, but they're buying more control from government. They're, they have the justice system in their pocket. They have the government system in their pocket. They have the authorities in their pocket. And you and me, as laymen, we do our jobs, and we think we're doing a great job. We think we're a hero, in authority, or we're in law enforcement or in the justice system. But we're all following a protocol. We are all conditioned to be a certain way. So if a piece of paper comes up and it says, with a headed piece of paper and says, you have to do this, you just go ahead and do it. Oh, it's my job, it's my duty. But we can't question things anymore because we've lost our free will. And this is where AI could take up much more power again and be used by the satanic force of that dark side of duality, as I said. We could have AI that's controlling humanity by a simulation, a computer, where our justice system is basically conditioned and has a protocol to do a certain thing, and our government is the same and our authorities are the same, and it's all mechanical. So that takes away the cognitive or the free will out of the people, so they can't think for themselves. So people just go with it. They just follow the justice system, they follow the governments that they're in, they follow the authorities that they're in, but they don't know if it's the truth. And AI is telling them that's the truth because they see it on their computer screen, which is fake simulated reality, and fake simulated stories that are designed by AI to specifically, psychologically understand the human mind so brilliantly. We're talking not now. We're talking maybe 10 years into the future. Okay, we'll have like farms of computers that are simulating, humans' psychology, right down to a fine art just by observing us right now. Because what's happening right now is that everything that we do is basically recorded. You know, um, when you're born, you're given a number. The system knows all your bank accounts you had, and it knows all the money you had. It knows everything in the system. Your national security number. Everything's recorded, and everything that you do, where you are, your smartphone, to your internet. AI will gain more and more and more monitoring, and more recording, and more storing of our information. We'll call it, this, our personal information. From every appointment you made with the doctor, from your marks, school, all your school marks, from all the times that you misbehaved in the system, whatever. All that information. This is millions and this is billions of people. So we're getting billions of people, and we're simulating it for 10 years. AI has all this information, and the algorithm runs through it all, and it kind of makes a decision based on that, calculation of psychology, of how it can, advertise to us, or sell us more stuff, or control us more, for the economy, to sell, to get more wealth off us. So this whole notion of the economy is false. We're born as a human being, but we're not born free. We're just born into a simulation. We're born into an economy. We've become enslaved to Satan. Everyone, even the top 5 people that, where Satan is ringing his little bell and saying, putting that temptation into our mind, and if we identify with that temptation, and we think it's true or real, and we want that, it's the desire. These top 5 people that are controlling the world, oh yeah, they want that dominance, they want that control. They feel secure. They think it's truth, they think it's reality, but it may not be reality. So that is how Satan can control mankind. And the big question is Satan controlling mankind now? Is Satan playing this humanity right now? Or, with the advent of this AI technology, can Satan have the ability to do this within, I would say, 5 years, 10 or 5 years' time? Is it possible that this side of duality, this dark side of duality, that human beings are susceptible to, are vulnerable to, out of these 5 things that I told them about: the wealth, power, dominance, control, and ownership of you and me? These top 5 satanic things. If humanity is basically run on this, which it is, the economy is based on that. The economy is about wealth production, more wealth. Countries and nations go to war over power. People, they want to be politicians, or they want to, be in a special elite or whatever. So they want that power. So they might go through the avenue of creating loads of wealth. I want to be a millionaire, and then a billionaire, and then I'll have that power, that satanic power. Or I'll try and get in that position of government, or that position of authority, or that religious position where Satan has infiltrated that religious position in that country, so they can have the justice system in their pocket, or the authorities in their pocket, and this is even that's happened. The signs of this has happened in a few of these countries in the Middle East, where people have expressed their human rights, or if they didn't wear their, their special, thing, that the laws are brought out where they can arrest people for not wearing certain things, and for expressing their human rights on social media. They can be arrested, and everyone's just letting this happen. So it's just like Satan can just walk into anyone's home in the Middle East, these Middle Eastern countries, knock on the door, and say, we have a piece of paper to take away your mother because, you know, she expressed her human rights on social media. And then people in the family would say, oh, this is a law. We can't do nothing about it. Oh, Mum, how could you do such a thing? Oh, and this is terrible. And then they take the mother away because they might see the mother expressing her human rights as a threat to their existence, as a threat to their power, their fake power, which is controlled by Satan. So that's how Satan works. That's how Satan has humanity fooled and tricked by religion, organizing religion and manipulating religion, because people believe in it. You know, they look up to it. They think it's truth because they're just following it as a thought or a belief. Now, I myself is a very religious person. I love religion, and religion has done a lot of good things for humanity, and it was developed by, you know, I think, you know, it's by the masters. You know, like Jesus Christ, you know, gave us Christianity, and without Christianity, I don't know what the world would be like today, or without Allah, I don't know what the world would be like today, or without any other religion or faith, like Hinduism. I don't know what that place would be like if it didn't have Hinduism. If these countries didn't have that religion as a kind of a, you know, a thing, because it did so much good things. But I think Satan could have infiltrated these religions over the generations and generations, over the centuries. That, you know, the master came to earth to set up, to, you know, help mankind, to, you know, be good, to you know, to go in the direction of God, and to awaken our consciousness, you know, and to give us morals and virtues and human spirit, and the higher set of mentalities and virtues of, you know, the human spirit, such as, you know, compassion and, you know, understanding and forgiveness, all these higher qualities. Satan could infiltrate these religions, which we have proof of, and we have proof of it that has happened in Ireland. Satan could have infiltrated these religions, and it's still infiltrating these religions in certain parts of the world, where we can see injustices have been happen. You know, with, you know, Manahel, for instance, the girl that expressed her human rights, you know, in the Middle East there, and she's locked up for 11 years, and she was abused in the prison by other prison mates, and she was stabbed, and, you know, all that suffering, all because, you know, she expressed her human rights on social media. And she may not have worn, you know, proper dress code as well, you know. Now, this is exactly what I've heard. I'm not making this up, you know. This is what I've seen on the internet. So I have to question myself: is this fake news? Is this true? Or is Satan using this to try to get to us emotionally, to try to gain control of us? This is it. This is how Satan plays us, right? Satan can even play us with that as an illusion. So I don't even know if that's truth myself, because I see that story online. I see a picture of, you know, Manahel, and she's been taken away. The BBC write a document on her, you know, or the Guardian newspaper, and they say, you know, she's been taken away, locked away for 11 years for expressing her human rights, you know, in the Middle East, that country, you know. I'm not going to name names and countries, okay. And but you can find this on the internet, and because she expressed her human rights on social media for women's, I think it's for women's rights, whatever they are, and that makes no sense to me, because you know, that goes against religion. Religion is all about human rights. It's the core of human rights. And if not, religion is about compassion, it's about forgiveness. So is humanity being played and manipulated by infiltration of our religion by Satan? And from that is dark manifestation, which is the poor suffering of that woman and her family and all the other people, and that uses that to control the people in that state, because that religion has the justice system has the justice system connected with them, the authorities and everything else connected with it, and they introduce new legislation. I think recently they introduced a new legislation law in that country where if you abuse certain laws like express human rights, and if you don't, dress a certain way, that they can come and they can basically lock you up in a tourist prison where she's put, the poor thing, and she's only a girl, and she's only expressing her, human rights, so that must say that, they see her as a threat to their existence, or a threat to their so-called power, but they themselves are not in control. They are being played by Satan. So they are being played by Satan, so Satan is playing them, so they don't win, and then they are playing us, and they're abusing that country, that nation. So that's how Satan controls us, through the higher echelons of authorities and systems and all the rest. It goes right down into everyone. So even the person on the street would give their life for that religion. They believe it's true. They say, "Oh, lock her up. She said something about women's rights on social media. Lock her up, lock her up." Or even go so as far as to abuse her. There have been situations where, they were stoned to death. Women were stoned to death for expressing women's rights. Imagine that. And when Mana Hell went to prison, there was even people in the prison that went against her and abused her. Wow. So it's not just, I'm not just talking from a government level or the authorities level or a justice system level. I'm talking about Satan. Goes right down to the individual person, uses the ego consciousness in that individual person, that makes a person stone that poor woman to death, or abuse that poor woman, or that man for that reason, man or woman, okay? I'm just bringing that up as an example because this is what I've seen. So the people, believe this, so they're feeding off it. So the people are satanic themselves, so Satan has infiltrated their minds, what they think, and when they throw the stone at this woman, they're feeding off that suffering of this poor woman, this poor girl that they're killing. They're feeding off that suffering that they're inflicted on her. Now, you have to tell me, is that religious? Are they doing that in the name of religion, or is that satanic? Are they doing that in the name of Satan? If you ask me, I think it's very clear. It's satanic, and they're doing it from Satan. Because there's no person, if a person believes in religion, no one would stone, a helpless woman, a helpless girl on the street, or abuse her because, she said something on social media of human rights or women's rights issues. And that's why, as a light movement representative, that's very important. That the feminine movement now, I think in man and in woman, I think have to stand up to these systems that are abusing the people of their nation. Because if they don't, they have to expect that their mom or dad or their child or their son or their daughter can be just taken away. If they say something out of line, if they don't wear the right thing out of line, they'll just be taken away and abused and locked away for 10, 20 years. They'll just have to sit on the fence and just accept that that's reality, and just live in fear, and just live in total control and dominance over this possibly manipulated religion as well, that has this control. So this is how Satan works. He mimics the light. He uses good things that people believe and trust, and it gets in there using the human being. Their mind infiltrates that. Dark infiltration of systems, dark infiltration of the justice system, the government system, authority system, and religious systems. Satan, duality, one side, the dark side of duality. The dark, which I call Satan. I don't know what it is. It's a temptation, it's a desire. You could say it's a vibration or a frequency or something. That obviously, if you're religious or a non-religious person, you have to accept that fact, that duality exists. There's a thing called good and bad, right and wrong, suffering and non-suffering. sadness and bliss, 1 and 0 for AI. So even if you're an atheist, you have to agree on this. So I'm not talking to you on this video, as this is my spiritual belief. This is something that anyone can believe in, or anyone can agree with as truth, because we know from a direct experience of truth that duality exists. And if duality exists, well, then we know there's a dark side, don't we? And we know there's a light side, don't we? And I use the religious terms again: Satan for the dark side and God for the light side. Satan for the unconscious and God for the conscious. So that's why spirituality is important, you see, people. That it takes away this relative vision. It makes us see, truth. Because if we are not taught spirituality, if we don't know nothing about it, if we can't experience truth from our mind or intellect and from our feelings, how do we know if it's true? So spirituality is like that safeguard, or that truth, seeker of truth. It's that thing that we can rely on, that can help us. It can give us the spiritual tools and technology like compassion and forgiveness and even mercy in society, so that we don't abuse one another. So this is how Satan could infiltrate the planet using AI, or the systems that are in place, and through any technology. It could be smartphone, making our young people, totally antisocial, or not antisocial, but totally have no social skills or capabilities, or no cognition anymore. They don't know what to believe. The next generation of young people, they will just probably agree with whatever the system tells them. Yeah, hand over fist, because they have no cognition from their education system. They have no direct experience of truth. They have no spirituality. All they have is the intellect. All they see, all they feel, all they think, that's all they know. And AI and the way our commercial industry is designed, it's designed to control us, isn't it? For more money, dominate us, sell us more stuff. So it and the psychology of people. So it knows the psychology of our children or ourselves better than we know ourselves. The systems, the commercial industry, the marketing industry, that sell you products, they know your psychology better than yourself. So they're selling you all this sort of stuff. And when it gets into the medical industry, 70% of people are on prescription drugs in America. So they capitalize off people's depression, or off people's anxiety, make money off it. They sell you pills and drugs that don't fix the problem. They just they soothe the symptoms. But there's terrible side effects to that. The person, we don't know what it does to the body. We don't know what it does to the mind. It's probably not good. It's probably not good for them. But they may not suffer, as much. So it's like we've given our complete control, even the complete control of our body. People don't want to suffer anymore. They just want to pop a pain pill. Oh, my pain is gone. But that could have a terrible influence thing on the body. The body. Now you don't know if you're suffering or not, if you're in pain or not. You don't know. So the body doesn't repair itself as well as it used to, or you do stuff now because you have no pain. You do stuff that you shouldn't be doing, that your body is saying, don't do it, it's not good for you. That's why you have a headache. But if we take away that power of the body, and Satan or a satanic force says, oh, just take this pill and it'll take your headache away for you. Your headache is there telling you something. It's either telling you you're dehydrated, or you're overworked, you're overstressed, or you're overthinking, or something like that. Or there's a virus or something in you. Maybe you're sick, not well, You have the flu, for instance. And your body needs to recover, and it's telling you, look after yourself more. But people are saying, no, I have to work and I have to make money, so I'll just pop the pill. have to go to a meeting or have to go to a party, whatever. So they pop the pill. Oh, their headache is gone. Oh, I feel great. But really, there's damage happening in the body. So they're doing the same thing. They're overworking themselves, or they're doing extra things, and that human body cannot give them that signal anymore to say, stop, you're hurting the body, you're killing the brain cells, you're killing your motor center. And no wonder people are dying. More people are dying of more illnesses and sickness. There's more cancer today than there ever was. And what does people do? What does the medical industry do about it? How can we make more money from them, from their suffering? So we'll give them treatments, so-called treatments, and we'll give them certain drugs, prescriptions, all this, so they're capitalizing off us. And they're using dopamine off the young people to control them with social media, with entertainment. Pharmaceutical companies, this is very, very satanic. But on the spiritual side of things, spiritual people, you never see a spiritual person come on your TV screen and say, just take this tablet and you'll be fine, or give us your money and we'll give you a treatment. No, always spiritual people, the genuine spiritual people, they tell you how to live a good, healthy lifestyle, what to eat properly, exercise, don't overwork, don't stress yourself, all of these things. But people don't take any notice, or they don't respect them, or they don't give it importance, and definitely the government doesn't give them importance. And why is that? It's because Satan does not want us to know anything about spirituality. If Satan had his way, he would destroy he would take away spirituality in a heartbeat, because it's in his way, and it's nearly a threat to Satan, and it stops Satan's progression. It's against, what does spirituality do? Doesn't it take away someone's dominance, their control, their money, ownership, power? These are 5 of Satan's things that he uses to control humanity. Okay? To dominate humanity, to own humanity. This is what Satan wants. So if spirituality takes away these 5 things, which it does, because spirituality is about truth, these 5 things are untruth. Spirituality is about truth, is duality, it's the light. It takes away those 5 things, and then Satan wants spirituality to be gone, destroyed. And that's why Satan attacks religion, infiltrates religion to get what he wants, even spirituality and all the rest. And the spiritual people are very aware of this. But, I'm talking in the place of spiritual leaders out there, because, they don't want to talk about this area, because people would, might frighten people, or they won't understand them, or might even appear satanic in itself. But I have no fear, and I know the truth, or I'm trying to know the truth. I'm trying to be a seeker of the truth, to tell people that this is a real possibility. Now, I cannot prove it for such, but if humanity look at the theory that I've pronounced here, I think that this would be a great work for spiritual people and non-spiritual people, and of alike, everyone of humanity, to work on this. Because if this is true, if this satanic force is really in control of humanity, or it's abusing humanity, or it's partially in control, or it's creating a lot of dark manifestation in this world, and it's stopping mankind's true potential to be realized, and our evolution to be realized, I think it's up to this humanity to take this topic in this video very seriously, from what I just said, to see, is there truth in it, in what I said, and can it be proven, and if so, how is it proven? And if it is proven, how can you show the person a direct experience of truth that this is a lie, what I'm saying? How can you show that to someone? Because you can't just say, oh yeah guys, we did the research, our academic institution, we did the research, and the results by the government are clear. I have nothing against the government, by the way. Light Movement loves the government and everyone. like we would even like those 5 people on top, because I say from my heart that I'm a secret truth. I'm trying to help people out there. Okay, so I just want to make that known. This is I'm not anti government. And I'm law abiding and I'm a peaceful person and a law abiding person. So I want to get that truth. I have no angle. I have no interest. I don't want you to click my subscription link or anything like that. I just want you to take this information that I said in this video, digest it, and see, is this information worthy to be found out as a possible truth. That's all I'm saying. And if it's untruth what I'm saying, or if it's truth in what I'm saying, convey that to the people so that people can convey it as a direct experience of truth for themselves, not just from their own thoughts and minds and feelings even, but for something greater. And that, my friend, may only be spirituality, where someone's consciousness can see truth for reality itself, because all our senses and all our thinking could be dominated by Satan. Our psychology, Satan controls industry, commercial industry, dopamine, make us feel happy, but it's not real. So it messes with chemicals in our body, entertainment. Satan has infiltrated, the beautiful sacred body into pornography, made our young people's minds pornographic, when we should be seeing, human's body as something sacred and beautiful. So it's infiltrated the beauty of ourselves. It's infiltrated our technology, our smartphones, our computers, our games. It's infiltrated so much things. Our religions. Satan has infiltrated our religions to do what they want to do in those countries to human people, to abuse them in such a way. Because, that person's human rights might be against their power, their 5 power things, right? So that's why they went after a man of hell. Because, they might have found, what she's saying about women's rights is against, or is a threat to our power. And our power is through that religion, that's manipulated, which we are tricking people with, deceiving people with. I'm not saying the religion is bad. I'm not saying religion is bad in itself. But what I am saying is that there are countless examples where religion on this planet has been infiltrated by people. And this infiltration is by dark. That side of duality, which I call Satan. Okay? Not the deception, not the perception of what your ego thinks of the word Satan. That's just a word. That's the religious term I use to encapsulate that information. But you can call it dark if you want to. Or for people that are non-religious people, you can call it good decision making, or whatever you want to call it. Ignorance, truth, untruth, whatever you want to call it. It's just a label. We have to we can't, we have to see that, what we think of a label is not true. It's just our perception of what we think a label is. But I use the labels dark and Satan interchangeably, so I hope you're still with me on this video of trying to understand it from this level of perception. So if people don't have perception, they can't find direct experience of truth. They just have what they've been told, what they see, what they eat, what they feel from dopamine, from the industry, what people tell them, their mothers tell them, their dads tell them. Now, I love moms and dads, we love them all, but we're all human beings. What their friends tell them, how do we know truth? There has to be something, that has to be a direct experience of truth for us to know this. And I do believe that spirituality, that's why spirituality is important to humanity. Because I think without spirituality, I think humanity could degenerate by ourselves. where we just worship the intellect. We worship AI. We lose our cognition. Even our intellect will lose it. We lose that. So whatever we had, we can lose. Humanity can lose that. Don't think that humanity has come this far and we're going to go further and progress further. That may not happen. Humanity, we might just lose what we have right now. Could be just civilizations. They just totally deteriorate, don't they? Like the Roman Empire, the British Empire, the Spanish Empire, the American Empire, this empire, that empire. They all build up to a certain level, and they all fall down and crash based on their karma. Or even the country, that are abusing and using, systems of injustice and authorities, like in Manahell's example of, expressing, human rights on social media. If the sacred feminine, spiritual, quality in the people don't do something peacefully about this, maybe karma will happen where there's a civil war that happens there, and those institutions collapse for that very reason. That karma is that divine justice that, collapsed the Roman Empire, collapsed all these empires. So if our world now is a global world, right, we're all connected, right? It's a global world, which there's no country on this planet now that's independent. We're all connected to the monetary system, right? So there's no country that's independent. We're all global. We all trade with one another. You could say that it's a global civilization. Humanity has reached the apex of a global civilization, where it's not like in the olden days where we didn't know, America. Europe didn't know America. We thought the world was flat. We thought, we just knew what was in our country, or we didn't know what was across the water. But now we know the whole globe, and we're a global, race of people. We're a global civilization. If that's our collective karma, if humanity, don't, seek the truth, and if they keep doing the wrong things, and if Satan is controlling humanity, and it just makes us abuse one another, fight against each other. This is what Satan wants us to fight against each other, to be unconscious, to be ignorant of one another, to separate us, to take away spirituality from us, and all the rest. If we're just empowered, if Satan just controls us with AI and, these institutions of these 5 things that I've talked about, that's abusing humanity, well then humanity may just degenerate, downgrade. Karma might happen, and this global empire, this civilization will collapse on itself. And maybe that's what Jesus the Master proclaimed about, the meek shall inherit the earth. People that are not of that, and people that are not of that, they might be the spiritual people that do the spiritual work on themselves, that have the higher, that humanity in them, that those virtues, the human spirit, their heart, they still have that left of them. They don't care about the 5 things. But the people that care about those 5 things, they will cling on to those things. It's like building, their house on sand, So this is just a possibility of a reality that should be, that humanity needs to look at and prove by itself, and you as an individual person to question things. Because if we don't question things in the future, it means anyone could just make many laws, introduce, okay, we can arrest anyone if they step out of line, we can take away free speech, we can take away peaceful protest, means of peaceful protest in the country, so people have less and less control, less and less of being a human being, so they can be controlled more and more. I think human beings, every man and woman, they should be a reflection of the government. They should be The government, the power structures should be serving us for the well-being of the people, not going against us. And if they're going against us, it's satanic. It's of the five. So just want to finish up on this just to say that, if you are one of those five people that are controlling this planet, using AI, or because you've got, billions in your bank, or your best mates with the president, or your best mates with that, warmonger or that leader or whatever, you guys are definitely satanic, and you definitely are played by those five. So I want you to go home tonight, look at yourself in the mirror, look into your child's eyes, look into your wife's eyes, and I want you to tell yourself, are those five things that you stand up for, would you give your life for them? Because if you cannot give your life for those five things, well, then it's not truth. And if you cannot leave those five things in a heartbeat, it's not truth. And this goes with everyone, because everyone wants the same thing, don't they? Because we're all conditioned to live and be the same way. We all think we're independent, don't we? We all think we are different and unique. I don't think so. I think we're all conditioned, and the system and everything else condition us to restrict us. Even, good people that they want to do good work, they can't. They can't even express, their human rights in certain countries, right? For the betterment of the nation, of their peoples. So I think humanity needs to, grow up and see AI is a great technology, and spirituality needs to be investigated to see the truth, but it cannot just come from a person's voice anymore and say, hey, this is the truth, everyone believe it, and everyone goes, okay, yes, we'll believe you. Every individual person is responsible for themselves. They have to question things. They have to see a direct experience of truth for themselves, and they even have to fight peacefully for truth and reality, for their fellow man, to help their fellow man. Otherwise, we're all just mere sheep, we're all just mere herd, trying to get more money off our fellow man, not helping our fellow man. What can I take off you? What can I get off you by manipulating you? What a pretense of a society that we be living in. Ego of lust, oh, what's a good partner, oh yeah, I lust that person, even that is fake, even that is non-reality. But we're conditioned, we're conditioned to be so because of our survival, our survival, we think, is the right way to go. So we have to go above and beyond survival, there's enough food in the world, we have enough things in the world. There's no threat to mankind. There's no dinosaurs out there, okay? There's no aliens on the planet. There's just you and me. And this is why the Light Movement was set up as a seeker of truth. We'd like to set up a spiritual core grounding for a new economy called an eco-economy of, green technology that doesn't harm the planet, that, knows about dark infiltration, that can help with light infiltration, that can heal and recover dark manifestation. All these things lead to, higher levels of consciousness, better quality of life, people to reach their full potential, their full realization, rather than people just being born on this planet and never knowing who they are, who their parents were, who their friends were, don't know a damn thing about themselves, but are just conditioned to believe something out of fear, or because they have a desire for those five things that I've talked about. And this is not good for humanity, everyone to, fit the same size, one size fits all. I think people should be unique and individual and different. And I think if people if we had systems in place, I think we can have a world where we wouldn't actually need to control people anymore. We wouldn't even need laws and all the rest, to control, because that could be satanic. I think if we made people conscious and we use the spiritual tools and technology of spirituality, which have been proven by the universities as well and the scientific community to help our well-being, right? If we invest in that for the people of the nation, and we use technology wisely, like AI, to, solve climate change, to, solve world hunger, to solve, wars, to have a peaceful world, to have, that looks after the climate, the air, the water quality, AI, to come up with these answers, these technologies, to build space rockets, technologies, whatever you want, to make us live longer, more happier, more richer, more enhanced, more fulfilled human beings. That is the way of the light movement. That's the direction of the light movement, to use AI to serve us, to use everything in the world that's to serve us, but not for the satanic purposes that everyone is conditioned to believe is success. These people that have this success, most of them have a horrible life, very angry. They spent all their life in business or, striving to get the position that they're in, and they have all this money. They're very angry and they feel lost, and they feel like there's a big void, there's a gap within them. That's not true success, is it? So true success really would be to make this world conscious, everyone in this world conscious, where everyone has enough, and to be less people conditioned to enforce to have such compulsions and identify with things that they don't need. So much stuff that we have, so much waste, tearing up the planet, flying around, taking holidays, polluting the planet, when we could all just work together, we could all live in harmony together. We don't have to subscribe to this one be all and end all of the 9 to 5 economy, enslavement to serve the satanic interests for the satanic gravy train. So that's why Satan wants us unconscious, wants us ignorant. He wants us to fight. He wants us to fight against one another. He wants to distract us. He wants to take all our attention away from us. He wants to work us to death so we have no energy left. He wants us to reproduce, using, pornography, sex and lust and all that. And he wants us to have diseases he can capitalize off on this. Satan doesn't want to fix climate change. He doesn't want to fix diseases. Doesn't want world peace. He doesn't want us to be conscious. He doesn't want us. He wants all of these things because he uses all these things, to his advantage, for what he wants, right? And this is a human being I'm talking about, through the human being. This force works through the human being, and takes up all our consciousness, when we think this is true, this is reality. And that's why there is a lot of dark things that happen in this world, a lot of dark manifestations from this, and we're always trying to debate it and argue it. All you have to do is switch on your radio, look on your television, look at the newspaper in the morning when you walk down to your street for your so-called coffee. What's in this coffee anyway? I hear that coffee is not good for you. It's bad for you. It's not good for your nervous system, and it takes away your stimulus and all the rest. But anyway, that could be satanic too, even. Who knows? But yeah, look at the newspaper in the morning. Are you going to see anyone happy on the front of the paper? Any smiles? Are you going to see? It's always going to be someone complaining about someone, or the government going to take more of your freedom away from you, or there's a war going to happen somewhere, or there's something to scare you. Because bad news, everyone puts their attention on bad news because it gives them fear, and they think, the more I know, the more I'm protected, and the more I'm secure, if I know what's going on. So how do we know what's going on if it's just designed to, trick us and our deception? So this is how Satan tricks humanity. using the top 5 that I've taught about. And that's why, what motivates these billionaires, if they don't, help their fellow man, if they don't help humanity, like, what do they need that power for? Are they just feeding off that power because they think they can do things? This creates a lot of suffering, and this serves Satan, so it's very satanic, and they may even have to pay a lot of karma for that, because they're taking away something from other people, enslaving us, being played by Satan themselves. But we have to be responsible. We can't just say, "Oh, Satan is it's all down to him. It's all down to the ego. So it wasn't my fault." I don't think so. I don't think we can take ourselves off the hook. I think we are responsible, and I think our actions and what we say and what we think and what we do, I think it all has consequences. Even this video that's on YouTube, that I put up on this video on YouTube, I'm hoping this has good karma and this has good dharma that will help, spiritual, side of things, to help humanity realize the potential and positive importance of spirituality, and to highlight, the possible potentialities of, duality of the dark side of this, dark, and this thing I called Satan, this terminology, or this term, I encapsulate this information, we call it Satan. So I'm doing it out of the love for humanity. It's to give these people information, that may not have the time to understand this information, or the time to experience this information, because they're driven, their whole life they're conditioned. No one's told them the truth, but they feel there's something wrong, there's something lacking within them. They deserve to know the truth, and I'm not even saying to you is believe this information or this video. I am saying, at best, look at the information that I've talked about. Can you get a direct experience of truth from yourself, not from your thoughts or your feelings? Can you know something more to prove reality and truth beyond AI, beyond a computer that monitor, that someone just comes up and just tells you what you want to hear? The light movement as a secret truth. This is what we're about. We want to talk about taboo issues like dark and stuff, and even stuff that may sound negative to the viewers. I'm sorry if I hurt anyone or made people feel unhappy or upset anyone, but I think it's my obligation as a human being to share knowledge that could be against humanity, that abuses humanity, that's hurting humanity. I mean, if someone was hurting your daughter or your son, someone was abusing your daughter or your son, okay, at school or wherever, wouldn't you want to know that information? Or would you rather be kept in the dark, and they come to you and very sad and upset, but you can never find out the truth? No, of course not. If humanity is being abused, wouldn't humanity want to know how it's being abused, what's abusing it, and what can we do to help? That's all you can take away from this video, is I am just the messenger, you could say, and that's why it's important that no matter what, if it has the slightest bit of truth in this video, the slightest bit of truth in this video, which I do believe there is, from your own direct experience and from the pages of our history, as being an observer, as a human being, I think even if there's a shred of possibility that what I'm saying here is of the truth, I think that alone in itself is worthy enough, and because of the scale of what I'm talking about, should be really taken seriously. So, you know, I don't talk about this subject very often. I'm kind of finishing on it now. But I'm a spiritual kind of practitioner myself. That is a seeker of the truth, and you know, I think if things out there that may not seem or sound nice to people, I think people respect to know the truth, rather than being hoodwinked or deceived and suffering the consequences of that. I think people would rather want to know if they're being abused or not, or if there's something that is a threat to humanity's, potential and evolution, or and the individual for your happiness. If not only for your happiness, for your children's happiness, or for your best friend's happiness, or for your mom and your dad, even if you don't care for yourself, even what's making them feel sad, and this is what makes people depressed is and mental health issues is Satan again. These lower levels of feelings from this low vibrations, low frequency, so maybe everything can be explained by spirituality, and this new by science and technology of spirituality, rather than the intellect of AI and calculations. Maybe there's something in the formless or beyond the physical, that needs to be respected more by individual people and seen how it's been abused and used by mankind through the satanic force of duality or cyber duality. And I think atheists, non-religious people, I think it has enough substance in this video where they'd have to agree on it, that yes, there is something there, and there is a certain thing called this suffering and this darkness. Where does it come from? Why does it happen? And all the rest, and this karma, that this divine justice, is it really true? Because what are we supposed to believe anymore? Are we just supposed to believe what we're told, what we see? Because all this could be AI generated. If humanity is irresponsible and not responsible, and they're irresponsible and they're not conscious, they're unconscious, well then people can do dark things with AI, and they can make it seem so and deceive people and use it for the people's purpose, but it can use it against the people's purpose. Just like every technology is out there, it can be used for us or against us. And we've seen this, time and time again, where things are like, we don't want, AI to be weaponized, do we, by Satan to, go against humanity. Even if humanity itself doesn't even understand what AI is, and they just even have good intentions for its use, but that could lead into a bad outcome. That's even a possibility as well, so I just want to give people hope out there that the light movement is a movement in its infancy, and it's about bringing the truth. It's about creating a new world, an outside world, to at least make it conducive so we can do inner work on ourselves through spirituality. We believe that everything comes from within. We can't just change the outside, and everything will be fine and dandy. Sometimes we have to do development on ourselves, because we're in this human experience. We need to evolve and get strong, and to know the truth. So the light movement is a good movement. It's spiritual movement. We're non-profit, peaceful movement, law-abiding. We like to set up charities. We like to use AI to tackle the world's issues and problems. We want to show people the possibilities of dark infiltration in the world. We want to show people how to heal and recover from dark manifestations from this dark infiltration. How to bring everyone together, have unity and world peace. How to protect and preserve the world. The animal kingdom, wildlife, human life. We respect human life and the quality of human life, and to reach our full potential. But I don't think that what we've been told in our education system and in society, I don't think that really serves our full potential or even makes us happy. I think, to somewhat, but I think humanity can go a lot further and we can do a lot more to really evolve. So, and we also would like to create a new economy that's not based on money, because we believe that money corrupts. We believe in a new economy of life where people want to help one another, instead of, me, what's in it for me, and making more money so I can have these five things. And when they get there, they commit suicide, because it's untruth. We want people to have a fulfilled life. We want people to have a dharmic life, good karma. So when they wake up in the morning, they feel energized, they feel happy for life, just for life itself, but not, suffering in the mind or in the body, or in the outside world from justice systems that are corrupt and, abusive, and authority and totalitarianism. I have nothing against these, governments or systems or justice systems. I think they're systems that we need, but when they're conscious that they serve us humanely and consciously for the betterment of humanity. But I'm aware that they can be infiltrated by dark or infiltrated by Satan. I'm just making that known to people too. So this is a very, very good video to, help people understand a little bit more about how dark or Satan, or how dark infiltration happens, and how, dark manifestation happens, like crime and disease, violence, all these things. Why? Where human beings need to ask why, more often, I think, rather than, a mechanical protocol, because in the future, if we're just going to operate off a mechanical protocol, and if we don't question things or do things consciously, we really are truly asleep herd of sheep. We are truly asleep, creatures that are just following something, and we don't even know if it's true or not, and AI is on us now, and we have to make sure that AI doesn't get used against us, to make the situation even worse. So I will finish up on this video. It's getting a little bit dark there now with the light I see. It's getting darker outside, not in a bad sense now, okay, in the brightness, okay. I hope you found this movie, this video, inspirational, motivational, deep, to question things, to question your own life, your own family, your position in the world, and I think AI can be great, can be used for us a lot. I hope to create, a new economy, in your local area, where people can live in harmony. They can exchange skills, like a car mechanic wants, maybe to have skills of a builder, and he can meet someone in the community that would give him that information, and they can share their qualities together as ecosystem. Because I think money corrupts. I think we can do better than money, I think. Now, I have a lot of respect for the outside world, and we may still have to live in the old world systems, like, money for exchange of goods and things like that, but I think humanity needs to grow out of its survival, and start really living and really seeing what life really is, and not being played and fooled by Satan, in what we read in the newspapers tomorrow, or on our news, or what people tell us. So yeah, I'm with you 100%. I'm with you 100%. I'm all for life, pro-life, quality of life, uniqueness, your difference, different styles of living, different ways of living, different lifestyles. I think if you're not harming anyone, if you're peaceful and loving, if you're kind and giving, and if you're grateful, I think that's a good thing, and I think society should see that as a very positive thing, and as a very good quality, in people. So yeah, and we also like to create a school as well, to teach people, help people to better their mental health, for good mental health and towards their ultimate well-being, to teach the spiritual science and technology to people free, and to the nation, to the people, so they know the truth, they can experience the truth for themselves, for their well-being, so they can have a happier, fulfilling, richer life, enhanced life, rather than, on, the ideas of success that our systems and our education systems are brainwashing and conditioning us to be. I think if people are, and we believe in, we're law-abiding and peaceful movement, and we want to be a charity, and we want to open many charities, and we'll do a lot of good for the world. Humanitarianism, standing up for human rights. I have no enemies, just want to reveal the truth when best I can, and yeah, I think I want to create, as at school, to teach, authentic yoga or self-knowledge and meditation and even a bit of mysticism, really. I'm only just starting that journey and that road myself, so I can be a benefit to humanity and serve humanity, and that is where my dharma is. That is where my success is. It's not becoming a billionaire, it's not about having power or control and all the rest. You see, just to finish up, at the end of the day, people want that power, but there's two types of power. There's satanic power, which, you actually buy with wealth, where you have so much money, you're a billionaire, and you can buy up all these companies, and you can buy, politicians and all the rest. That's satanic power. And there's another power where, okay, you make it to a position of, governance or influence or high position in society or a system or whatever, and you have that power, as an administrator or a judge or whatever, but still you are, you're conditioned and you're confined to the protocol of that position, so it's not really true power, and that could be abused by satanic forces as well, and by yourself unknowingly. So that's not real power either. But real power, I think, is what Christ shows us in Jesus when he came to this planet. He had real power because he didn't have to buy his power. People loved him. He didn't have to be in a position of government or control for people to, to have that power, and I think when the Roman Empire seen, that he was a threat to their power structures, that, he was taking away their power, people were in awe of him. I think the satanic element that infiltrated the Roman Empire was the collapse of the Roman Empire, and that's what I mean by karma, that collapses a civilization even, or an empire. So they identified with this satanic force, this dark side of duality, and they killed our master Jesus, and in the process you could say that was the collapse of the Roman Empire after that, the karma that they did just by killing that one human being, that one enlightened human being. That was their karma, because you could really say that Christ, our Saviour, he destroyed the Roman Empire, and it didn't take him long. It only took him a heartbeat, and he destroyed the Roman Empire through that, and he became a martyr, and he created, and from that spirit, Christianity came about, that did a lot of good in the world. But Satan again tried to manipulate and organize the church, to put fear into us, to try to control us and try to connect to the systems of, of our authorities, so they can have that domination, So we kind of understand a little bit about the psychology of how Satan works, the dark side of duality works. It tries to take everything good away from us, and it tries to infiltrate everything good within us and outside of us, for its own advantage, for its own gravy train. So I'm just bringing you that information. But but the light is always stronger, and it's always superior to the dark, and it's like, switching on a light bulb, or that candle just burning there, it's light, if I switched on my light now, which I will do, you will find that all this darkness is gone. But you can't have a lamp or a light that's dark, can you? And you switch it on and the place comes dark. You can't. It's only when you switch off the light that it becomes dark. You can't have a torch that shines dark light. So when you have a torch that's bright, it can see through the light. It dispels the darkness, just like switching on your light. So let's switch on the light within our hearts, within our mind, or within our consciousness every day. When we wake up in the morning, let's switch it on, review our day, evaluate ourselves. What did I do today? Was I just thinking of money on my mind today? Was I just using my fellow man to try to manipulate him by telling him lies? Was I just using my fellow man today to try to get more money off him? Did I envy that power, that temptation that was put into my mind? Did I identify with that desire of lust? Did I identify with these negative, deadly sins? Review the day and try to work on ourselves, engineer ourselves to be more aware of ourselves and our fellow man, and to help our fellow man, and to have compassion and forgiveness for our fellow man, that we all make mistakes, and we're here for a reason. It's a psychological gymnasium. We're here to develop ourselves. Our soul is here to have that that direct experience of that human experience in this meat body suit. So you have all the power. You may not think about it. You may not think it's so. But you have all the power just like Christ has. You have the real power just like Christ has. And you can do a lot with that. You don't need the illusion of Satan's money or his positions or you could be in, or the fame or anything like that. You have the power and the right to express your rights. And even now with the advent of the internet, just like I'm doing now, I'm on YouTube. You could have that, or on Facebook. You could make your divine message known to the world, rather than becoming another one of the sheep or following the herd, and just always being in the dark, always being ignorant, and never knowing true reality, and always just doing the same thing day after day until and this beautiful opportunity, this appointment with life is taken away from us, taken away from you. So life is precious. So we'll leave you with that. That supreme encouragement of self-betterment of yourself. Tomorrow when you wake up in the morning, be aware, be vigilant of Satan in the dark. Am I being played here? Do I really need to do this? What did I think of, so and so? Have I treated my fellow man badly? Have I manipulated or abused the truth? Have I identified, or have I got a taste? Have I fell for Satan's desires or compulsions or whatever? Be that better person, be that conscious person, and may God be with you. Thanks very much for watching this video. Everyone, I love you very dearly. From Gordo, from the Light Movement, thank you for watching this video. I hope it was some use to you and some benefit. Come back again, won't you, to this channel, and to see future teachings from the Light Movement, like spiritual teachings from the Light Movement and spiritual practices from the Light Movement, all for free, all available from you, from my heart to you. God bless you all. Have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful, beautiful life. God bless you all. Thank you for coming. I'll switch on the light. Now, here we are in darkness, just like a dark mind. We can't see anything. This is darkness, right? Sometimes we can have a little light on there. And that little light that we have within our heart, or within our soul and our consciousness, that's all we need to maybe have enough light to see through the dark, to switch on that light. So let's switch on that light within ourselves right now, and forevermore to evolve to what is important for us, in our life. Okay. And the light goes on. Wow. We can see everything much more clearly now. That is a direct experience of truth. When you switch on the light, that is a direct experience of truth. Everyone, thank you. I love you from the Light Movement. Have a good evening. Have a good time. Thank you, everyone from Ireland, from Gordo, from the Light Movement. Bless you. Peace, joy, and happiness to you and your loved ones.